Well, we're going to go ahead and call this meeting to order. Welcome everybody that's on the other side of the screen. I hope everybody's doing well. If we could please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Mrs. Jepsy.
Here.
Mrs. McCarthy.
Here.
Mrs. Saxon.
Here.
Mrs. Chimera.
Here.
Mr. Baca.
Here. Finalization of the agenda. Is there anything to add and or delete?
The agenda is final as presented.
And,
Mr. President, I just want to make a comment on approval of minutes to strengthen the board organization.
and as to the fact that there was not one in February, so we will strike that. Anything else? It is recommended the Board of Education approve the written summary of the special and regular minutes for the meetings on February 3rd, 2020 and February 18th, 2020.
Moved. Second.
Moved by Ms. Tamara, second by Ms. Saxon. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Chimera.
Yes.
Mrs. Saxon.
Yes.
Mrs. Yetsey.
Yes.
Mrs. McCarthy.
Yes.
And Mr. Baca.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0.
On the superintendent's report?
Sure. So we have one report this evening. Given the current COVID-19 crisis, we are extending time for our building reports, recognitions, and announcements, and will only include our building report from Ranger Academy this evening. And I'd like to introduce Amy Hostow.
Everybody else does as well?
Okay, well, good evening. I'm glad I have an opportunity to talk to you tonight about Ranger Academy. It's a program that we have that, mostly in high school, but we are serving some of our middle school students as well. Who are we? We're an alternative, obviously, to the traditional setting. We are currently running an AM and a PM, as well as an after-school program for our students. We also have a few periods throughout the day for our credit recovery. We serve a number of students. We're up to 125 students total that's utilizing this platform to some capacity. The Ranger Academy program, the alternative setting, we try to keep those numbers to 16 to 20 in the morning session and 16 to 20 in the afternoon. About half of those students we call hybrid students, meaning they're in our program either in the morning and the afternoon, and then they're attending other classes in the building outside of Ranger Academy. The other half of our students are full-time Ranger Academy students and are either attending just a half a day, or some are, many work in the afternoon then or in the morning in addition to their school time. The students that we support, we're not just, talking about students that are overage and undercredited. There are students that, we have a lot of fourth-year students that need, to make up some credits. But we also have a variety of students that are just looking for the alternative to a large high school setting. And in that regard, we are able to service a number of different, different students and ages. And, it's very nice because it's so individualized. That we can serve so many students. We also have a number of students at NRAC and in the STEM program at RHTA that utilize it for math and science. So we are helping facilitate some of our students that are taking physical science in 8th grade. We're having some of that 8th grade science content taught, through some of the APEX curriculum and then the math curriculum as well. We have some JVS students that just can't fit in all of their course requirements. So they've taken, courses through Ranger Academy. And then we also have had students earn an honors diploma because they thought that that was very important to them. And so they wanted to take a class to supplement some of the things. So we have a wide range of students taking these courses and utilizing these types of things. What I really want to talk about tonight is how our program matches the vision of the North Ridgeville City Schools, which is empowering students to design their perfect futures. I think our most important job is to make sure that our students are ready for what's next. So one of the things that we've really tried to add in is a lot of the college and career planning and what it is that they would want to do once they leave high school. And so all of our students in our program were enrolled in a college and career exploration course this past semester, which was very successful. All of our students that are enrolled in the Ranger Academy are going to earn an Ohio Means Jobs Readiness Seal, which is really important for our alternative pathways to graduation, but it's also important for our students to show that they are career ready. It shows that they have these 15 competencies to be successful in the workplace. And so we're really excited that we're able to offer that through Ranger Academy. The students have completed a number of different surveys, tests, possible interests that trying to identify what it is that not only they like to do, but also what they're good at, and then what it would take for their post-secondary plans. We've also sent groups to Lorain County Community College, and we've explored all of their adult programs as well as 4-year degrees that they can earn through LCCC. So we were really excited about that. We've had them visit the fire station right next door because it was an easy field trip. We could walk over there and learn how to join our services after graduation and what it would take. We've had guest speakers come in to talk about what it would take for those careers as well. So not only are we talking about the future, but we also, the program matches our mission very, very well. When we talk about being innovative and collaborative, the board should be commended for starting this program 6 years ago because it is an innovative program. We'll talk about that a little bit later, but also collaborative in a sense, and then taking care of the whole child, not just the academics of the courses that they need. And so some of the things that we did this year, our English teacher that works with our students, we started a book club, and we picked a high interest read that would get the kids interested in having conversations, and instead it got the students off of the computer. One of the things that we really wanted to do in the program was to not just have the online setting, but also then make it more of a community setting so that they could come in and have conversation. And, it's hard to do those types of things just in front of a computer. And so with the college and career exploration class was off of the computer. This unit of English was off the computer. It was fantastic. We had all but 3 students complete this project, and it was phenomenal what we got from that group. Multiple partners provide a variety of counseling and group activities for our students. We have teamed our parents and our students up with Firelands, Lakata, Nancy Lowry and Associates. We have worked with Goodwill. We're currently using our district social worker to offer the students a group session each week. What we did, just their very last project was an art therapy session that they were working on, and so that gives the students time as well. And then we had the parents and students complete surveys for their additional needs and what they would need. We do that at the end of each semester. And then, like I said, one of our other partners that we've worked with is Goodwill sends in a representative, and they've done a 12-week program with our students that works on their soft skills. This one is a little bit like, the last college and career planning as well, but it was an outside partner that came in and worked on resume development and just the soft skills needed to find a job. And then at the end of the 12-week program, they offer a job fair for students to attend, to try to find summer work and outside of the school day. Who's using Ranger Academy? Last year, and I thought this number was high, I think that almost a fifth, 20% of our students are using Ranger in some capacity. We had 17% of our graduating class of 2019 utilize Ranger Academy. But remember, it was not just in the program. Maybe some of these students needed 5, 10 classes, maybe more to graduate. Maybe somebody just needed one recovery period. But the class of 19 also used this for their honors diplomas and to make sure that they were taking courses that would make them eligible for NCAA requirements. So we can really utilize this program for a number of different needs for our students. The data piece is hard to see, but hopefully this presentation will be shared with you. It just is, it really just kind of gives us a glimpse. Went back through Apex, which is our online learning platform, and just kind of took a look at how many courses are we completing, and we continue to raise that number each year of how many courses we're completing and how many students are participating, in that data. And then probably my favorite page here, these are quotes from our parents mostly in the January survey about their students in the Ranger program. Some of them are our students, quotes of what they have to say about Ranger Academy. I just want to mention a couple of them. This is the first book I've ever read. It was awesome to hear that and to think about that story. That comes from a student who had been expelled 3 times previously in their school career, okay? And so to hear that they were reading every week and staying up with that content and having those conversations was just really, really powerful. And so I wanted to share that. I love that she has her confidence back. A lot of times just being in a big high school setting, some of our students just want to be in the Ranger Academy because they like the small feel of it, not because they need it because they're credit deficient. And so some of those things are really important. It's giving him the drive to want to graduate. I mean, that's why we have to have, this program in place. And then the last one I'll mention says, thank you again for your help. You have a great program running there. I just wanted to share with the board because you're the ones that started this program 6 years ago. And it's awesome to think many of our neighboring districts are trying to bring something like this to their own districts. We've had 4 districts come in just this year to observe North Ridgeville and Ranger Academy. And so should be very proud of that. And, we are seeing that as a model program of how we can run alternative education and keep our kids here in North Ridgeville rather than sending them elsewhere to be successful. So, do you have any questions?
I just love the direction you've taken with the program. 6 years ago was an idea and a vision, and seeing what you've taken, what level you've taken to is amazing and impressive. And seeing the quotes on there, it means a lot to me. I was one of the people that really wanted to see this happen and talked about it for years. Honestly, years before, even 6 years ago when we started it. And the fact that you're utilizing the social worker and that we are addressing all the needs of the student, I just want to commend you on that. How many kids were we able to keep? And you might not have this answer, so if you don't, fair enough. But I know one of the reasons we really wanted to roll this out too was to bring our students back from the ombudsman and those type of other online components. That those programs aren't needed in some capacity, but we thought we could reach more of our students if we offered something. Any idea how many of those students we've kept in district because of this?
Well, I don't know the numbers of how many we had sent out. I know that we send very few students to Ombudsman as well as at Pathways, which used to be LCA. I believe at the moment we only have 4 students that are placed out of the district. And so those numbers are very low. And a lot of times we look to make sure that they're not a great fit so we can have them in our own program. So it really has worked out very nicely.
You talked about partnerships. Do we have partnerships with any of the union groups that offer apprenticeship programs?
That's our next step. So one of the things that we want to do with the career program is we want every week to either have a guest speaker or a field trip. And it really is about trying to make those partnerships and in those relationships so we can bring them in. We want to introduce our students to every type of job available to them. One of the things that we were looking at this spring in March was to look at one of those, unfortunately, but that is a goal. And, the staff in Ranger has been great in getting this up and running this year, the college and career course. And I think that next year, really the goal will be to bring in those partners. And if you know somebody that would love to be a guest speaker or would love us to just go and see, their place of employment, that would be great because we want to keep those really right in North Ridgeville. And so just, going to different locations in North Ridgeville would be important for our kids to see what types of jobs are available to them as soon as they have graduated.
The 125 students that we currently have taking part in Ranger Academy, all age ranges in the high school, all grade levels?
Yes, our youngest I think is in 7th grade.
Okay.
But in the Ranger program at the high school, we have 1 freshman, 1 sophomore, and then the majority are 3rd and 4th year students.
Okay.
Any other questions?
I know we started looking at identifying kids at risk early on. Are we still taking a look at that, or do we still have the middle school component that
Yes, we've met with the high school administration and in NRAC and RHTA. We meet as a staff all the time, and we're looking at students and we're looking at programs, because right now a lot of the program that we talked about, the Ohio Means Jobs Readiness, those types of things are older. They're really focused on the older student, and we know that there's a need, but it's a different need for the younger students. So we're really trying to figure out how to best utilize this program for both needs.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Board meeting. And that concludes the superintendent's report.
Thank you very much. All right, we'll move on to announcements. Is there any announcements this evening? We've had a lot of them between 2 and 3 o'clock lately, so anything here locally for us? No? Okay.
Frank, I just wanted to make mention of our, we had a fundraiser scheduled this Thursday for Fiesta Jalapenos. And we've canceled that fundraiser, and but still encouraging people to go and order at Fiesta and get takeout. We figured that the money that they would donate to us, they could utilize that better for their servers that are going to be without for the next, I don't know how long. And in that regard, there's plenty of local restaurants here in North Ridgeville that need support, so that have supported the schools for a long time. So if you're in the mood for carryout, please consider supporting a local restaurant.
Ms. McCarthy's been kind of driving this. We are all in this together. Day to day, it's changing. Everybody's affected in different capacities, and the restaurant industry is really taking it on the chin right now. And local businesses have struggled with the construction project. So anything we can do in our community to help through these times would be greatly appreciated. We all still enjoy eating out. You just have to take it home. And a lot of these restaurants are our partners. They do a lot for us, and we don't want to forget them now. So anything you can do, and this please for the public as well. We are all in this together, and we are Ranger strong. So I would challenge you, go out, pick up some food, take it home and enjoy it. There's no dishes. You're good to go. And it's a win-win for everybody. So.
There you go. Thank you.
And just to that end, it would be remiss of me not to mention the enormous amount of collaboration that the staff has taken on in the last 5 days with an ever-evolving situation that, you're right, is changing by the hour, and the numerous decisions that have had to have been made in order to continue business as we now know it has been a tremendous amount of undertaking by this entire staff, and I am blown away at the staff here in North Ridgeville and their willingness to not only continue business as usual for their students to the best of our ability, but also their willingness to come and learn, to be here, to participate in professional development in order to reach our students on a daily basis, by our administrators for leading these groups of teachers through really uncharted territory, and to our board for your support of all of us through all of this has been tremendous. and to our parents and community that are being asked to take on a lot right now, being home, managing children, managing schoolwork, and trying to maintain a household and work full-time. Is really a lot to ask, and we are cognizant of that, and we appreciate all that everybody is doing, and just want to say thank you.
All right, we'll move on to the consent agenda. Hearing of the public. Is anybody? Sam? Sam, can you hear us? Okay, good. All right. We'll move on to the consent agenda. It is recommended the Board of Education approve the consent agenda resolution as presented.
Second. Page 6.
Who's that moved by? I apologize. Ms. Tamara, and second by Ms. Saxon.
Yes.
Okay, is there any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Tamira,
Yes.
Mrs. Saxon.
Yes.
Mrs. Yetsey,
Yes.
Mrs. McCarthy,
Yes.
and Mr. Vaca.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0.
We'll move on to the finance audit report. Ms. McCarthy.
Thank you, Mr. President. We have two items under the finance audit report this evening. It is recommended the Board of Education approve the financial report and report of interest and investments for February 2020. I move that.
Second.
Moved by Ms. McCarthy, second by Ms. Yetsey. Is there any discussion this evening? Roll call, please.
Mrs. McCarthy,
Yes.
Mrs. Yetsey,
Yes.
Mrs. Saxon,
Yes.
Mrs. Tamira,
Yes.
and Mr. Vaca.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0.
And secondly, we have the resolution to dissolve the health trust. It was presented at our March 3rd meeting, so I would like to move that the Board of Education approve the resolution to dissolve the health trust as of March 31st, 2020.
Second.
Moved by Ms. McCarthy, second by Ms. Sexton. Is there any conversation? Roll call, please.
Mrs. McCarthy,
Yes.
Mrs. Saxon,
Yes.
Mrs. Yetsey,
Yes.
Mrs. Tamira,
Yes.
and Mr. Vaca.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0.
Okay, we'll move on to other board business. Ms. Tamira.
Thank you. We have the IT Broadband Master Agreement for your consideration in the Education Report. IT Broadband requires a master service agreement for connectivity between school buildings and the bandwidth for internet connectivity. Through the E-rate process, the IT departments gathered several quotes from local and national carriers to maintain 2 gigabytes of bandwidth to the internet and to support fiber works between buildings. IT Broadband provided the most comprehensive quote that best fits the current and future needs of the school district. They have been a strong partner to the schools, the City of North Ridgeville, LCCC, and the Lorraine JDS. The North Ridgeville schools qualify for 40% reimbursement for the connectivity purchased to maintain our network and internet bandwidth. To meet E-rate timelines, we would like to renew the agreement with IT Broadband. We also have a resolution to respond to the COVID-19 health crisis. This resolution allows the superintendent and treasurer to take any and all reasonable steps necessary to maintain the educational program to the extent practicable during the period of time that North Ridgeville City School District's buildings are closed to students, including but not limited to providing for the safety of all students and staff, directing staff as appropriate, implementing curriculum and other student services as appropriate, and complying with orders and guidance issued by the local, state, and federal government and other agencies in response to the COVID-19 health crisis. I move to approve the education report in one reading.
Second.
Moved by Ms. Tamira, second by Ms. McCarthy. Is there any questions? So with this resolution, can you share with us some of the things that may have already been addressed that needed to be done in a timely manner.
I can.
Yeah, not all of them, please, because I'm sure there's been many.
Yeah, just some high-level examples of what we're talking about in terms of expeditious decisions, and lots of these things have already occurred. But the decision to serve lunch, breakfast to our students outside of what is a normal circumstance, including but not limited to spring break. What is the definition of a calamity day versus a non-calamity day? This is an executive order, and so working with our union groups to define what these work days will look like for them. The payment or non-payment of staff members during certain points of time, including but not limited to spring break. Who is essential staff and when do they report and for what purposes? Distribution of board-owned devices to students outside of the norm. K through 2 will be getting Chromebooks and iPads in order to maintain educational work inside their homes. Professional development for staff, voluntary versus mandated, not requiring staff to come in, but those who do need essential professional development in order to maintain programming for students. The operation of building, when buildings will be open, who will be inside the buildings and what will those hours be. Again, not normal circumstances. Many events were canceled or postponed prior to continued governor's guidance, which we know is coming daily between 2 and 3 p.m. And we're responding to that as quickly as we can as well. Mandating support of online resources, again, having to place emergency purchase orders for devices and support for devices that we are putting in students' hands that we normally would not have done. Is that a good list so far?
It's a good list.
I'm sure there are lots of other things. I don't know if Mr. East would like to add to that, but we're making constant decisions as we are going through this together in order to maintain a level of operation here based on the governor's guidelines.
You covered the list extensively well, so.
So, I'm trying to think of how to phrase this best. I appreciate everything that you and the entire administration have been doing. It's a little daunting, I think, for all of us, because this is uncharted waters that we're all in right now. And I have a concern with the resolution because obviously we haven't been in this position before. As much as I personally trust both of you 100 times over, I don't know where that puts us as a board. And if we don't want to be involved in our the daily operational, this isn't a lack of trust. It's a concern. Where do we fit in with this? How can we help and how can we still be involved?
The resolution does protect you, and it protects us to operate in both a legal and expeditious manner. The revised code actually covers your position through policy, and it covers administration through administrative procedures, and mostly been administrative procedures, and we try to keep you totally informed of them, but sometimes we have to act in a judicious manner and as quickly and as efficient as we can.
No, that's understood.
So, correct me if I'm wrong, the resolution's intent is to be able to make decisions in a timely fashion based on ever-changing information from the state and federal government that could possibly put anything, not at risk, because that would not be a good word, but create a time lag from the time we receive the information in instituting changes that need to be made for decisions that you normally would make anyways, especially when it comes to the collective bargaining units and their readiness to be a part of this and to help us through this. So we're still have the ability to make policy, we're still being informed, and quite frankly, a lot of these decisions will be decisions outside of our scope typically anyways. This resolution just gives us legal coverage through the ever-changing narrative that's coming from the state and federal government. So.
Thank you.
And that is just for that time period?
Well,
Or
the time
It
period,
says 2020 to 2023. Or no, wait, I'm sorry, I'm looking at the wrong one. That seems like an awful long time.
That's broadband. That's
the time
broadband.
period
Through April 3rd.
through April 3rd. However, it also acknowledges that the mandatory of school buildings to students could extend beyond that initial 3-week period. So it does give some flexibility, knowing that there could be, again, a further
Need for this.
guidance and need for continued decision-making.
My main question for you is, when we do this, where does that put us in regular, I know that we are up for negotiating for our union. This doesn't cover this, correct? Or does it, for our new contract?
Well, negotiations is typically done by the administrative team when it's done properly. Through guidance, I mean, it's shared with the board and we have input. But at the end of the day, it's our admin team that will negotiate with the 2 union groups as those contracts come up for negotiations. And then at that point, we look for a tentative agreement that's signed off on by either group, and then that's presented to the board for approval.
So that
So
was
this
still-
resolution in no way changes that. It's directly related to this virus and what's going on, and the fact that at 2 o'clock tomorrow, it could change all over again.
Okay. I think the bottom line is that this is non-precedent setting and doesn't set us up or not to negotiate. This is simply in response to what is happening right now and is not precedent setting. Should not be precedent setting.
It's still under the negotiations. That still has to come to us for approval. That doesn't remove our authority over that in any capacity.
A perfect example would be in the lunch program. We're permitting students to receive those lunches when you have established the lunch prices and established what we should charge for them. We've kind of waived those procedures and just make sure that the children get fed. And that's, I believe, your primary objective too. So that would be one policy, that you set prices, but we've kind of waived it. There may be other things down the pike too that we could waive.
Just like the purchasing of iPads and Chromebooks for the younger students, that would have been something that we would have had to approve. I'm assuming it would be over that dollar amount that we wouldn't have to approve. But under this resolution, you can expedite that process and get those into the hands of our kids who will need them sooner than later.
And at this point, we have not exceeded. We have had plenty of devices in-house, but what we've had to do is quickly expedite orders, perhaps without a purchase order in place, which is a little bit backwards from our normal procedures. But we've had to order additional charging equipment, which was an expense, not that would exceed something that we would put before the board, but doing so without a purchase order in place, or the purchase order came slightly after that was placed in order to make that transaction expeditious in order to get those in the hands of students as quickly as possible.
And then the other thing it does, what we don't necessarily see coming, and it could come, at any given time, we could be ordered to hunker down in-house. And unless they rewrite legislation that suspends sunshine laws, at that point, the admin's got to be able to make decisions, even in the event that the board can't come together collectively, or at any point, any of us are exposed where we don't have a quorum. Without a quorum, again, at this point, they're not suspending current Ohio Revised Code that gives us the ability to either conference in or have a phone vote. So the ever-changing narrative that's coming out of the state and federal government, we don't know what that holds. And to put us in a position where we couldn't keep moving forward for these kids through, which again, the governor said again, I believe it was yesterday, that he foresees in all likelihood that this is going to continue past April 3rd, April 6th. So we're just trying to prepare for it so that these kids don't lose the next 3 or 4 months, which puts them, behind the 8 ball for next year. And so it's ever changing.
I'd just like to say I feel confident in this resolution because of the team that we have in place with Mrs. Casario and Mr. East at the helm of that, with their ability to collaborate with each other, be fiscally responsible to our stakeholders, and educationally responsible to our students. I think they've proven that over the last several days. The communication that we've had from the district has been tremendous, ever-changing, but tremendous. The ability for people to submit questions to the district through the Google form and the frequently asked questions being updated so that we're all in the know. And they don't know any more than we know at the time that it's known. Okay? So.
We don't know what we don't know until we don't know.
Thank you. So I feel confident in their ability to keep the district running as smoothly and as efficiently as it possibly can. So I thank you both for your dedication and to both of your teams. It's tremendous. I really appreciate it.
And we appreciate the communication, because I don't think I've ever said I don't know so many times as I have in the last 2 weeks, because we don't know. We don't know what's coming. We don't know what changes are going to happen. And I look forward to the 2 o'clock to 3 o'clock update.
I appreciate you taking the time to answer my questions and ease my concerns. And again, I want to reiterate that I also do have complete faith in the district and all of the decisions being made. I appreciate the communications, but again, this is an uneasy time for everyone, so I appreciate you answering my questions. Thank you.
Thank you for asking.
Any other questions? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Jamero,
Yes.
Mrs. McCarthy,
Yes.
Mrs. Yetsey,
Yes.
Mrs. Saxon.
Yes.
Mr. Vaca.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, we'll move on to Human Resources Report. Ms. Saxon?
Yes, we have a few items to consider under the Human Resource Report. 1 certified staff appointment, 1 certified leave replacement appointment, 1 support staff appointment, 1 support staff substitute appointment, 1 certified staff leave of absence, 3 support staff leaves of absence, 3 certified staff resignations. I motion to approve the Human Resources items in 1 reading.
Second?
Moved by Mrs. Saxon, second by Ms. Tamira. Is there any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Saxon,
Yes.
Mrs. Jamero,
Yes.
Mrs. Yetsey,
Yes.
Mrs. McCarthy,
Yes.
and Mr. Vaca.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0.
Okay. Hearing of the public on new items. Here's an opportunity to address anything you'd like to address with the board. Seeing none, it is recommended that the Board of Education enter into executive session to discuss specialized details of security arrangements.
Second.
Moved by Ms. Tamira, second by Ms. Yetsey. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Jamero,
Yes.
Mrs. Yetsey,
Yes.
Mrs. McCarthy,
Yes.
Mrs. Saxon,
Yes.
Mr. Vaca.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0.
Everybody stay safe,
Thank you.
wash your hands, and we'll get through this.